Have you ever had the feeling that your ex is just pretending to be over you, but actually they're not? This is actually surprisingly common, and we're going to get into how to identify if this is happening in your situation or not in this video. In fact, we're going to be talking about 7 specific signs that your ex could be just pretending to be over you by looking at their emotional responses and how they behave. So with that being said, please make sure you watch this video all the way through to the end so that you can make sure that you're not missing a single one of these signs. But if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, first of all, hello, my name is Clay with modernlove.life. And we are here to help you get the great loving relationship that you are looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not. Because you, of course, deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. Okay, so first of all, this is not going to be an exhaustive list of signs. If you do notice any signs that your ex may have pretended to bend over you when actually they're not, please feel free to share those in the comments down below. Also, please share which of these signs you've noticed in your situation, or maybe none of them, or maybe something else that I forgot to mention. The first one is that they're going to be giving you mixed signals. Now, of course, mixed signals are very common when it comes to interacting with your ex. You know, they're still trying to figure out how they feel about you, what they want, what they don't want, etc. And there are, of course, are probably going to be of two minds about this. You know, there's going to be that part of them that wants to feel closer to you, that wants to connect with you, that wants to, you know, let the attraction do what it's going to do. Because obviously, if the two of you are in a relationship with one another, there's probably some attraction there. But then there's also that other side that's like, yeah, but there are all these reasons why we broke up. There was the lack of trust. There was the fighting. There was the arguing. There was the lack of prioritizing us and all that sort of stuff. And so they're going to be giving you these mixed signals as they sort of go back and forth on this little journey here that we have. This is very common, and it's a really, really almost predictable thing that we've seen in most people when it comes to this process of getting back together. You know, I've talked about this before, but many times we think that we're going to have this nice, easy, linear progression towards getting back together, where it's just going to be some steady progress each step of the way. But what usually ends up happening is, you know, you might get some initial progress, but then something bad happens. Oops, I'm in a rebound relationship. Okay, the rebound and I broke up. Now we're going to get back and make some good steady progress. But oh, hey, you're too good for me. We should stop seeing each other. We should just be friends. And they pull back. And then it's like, it's just this sort of zigzag roller coaster thing. It's just how it is. And there are a couple reasons for that. First of all, we're dealing with one person's opinion of you and their decision to be in a relationship or not. And when it comes to one person making a decision, it's probably going to be some back and forth in the process. But also, number two, this is a process of learning how to trust themselves, learning how to trust you, and learning how to trust the relationship again. And so there, of course, are going to be times when that pull to be closer to you is stronger. And there are, of course, going to be times when that push to keep your distance and to remember all the reasons why you broke up might be stronger. So expect this back and forth, hot and cold kind of behavior. Second up here is they blame you for the breakup and they're not really ready to take responsibility themselves. Now, this shows a lot of emotional investment on their part, which means that they're definitely not over this. Of course, you know, if we're being honest with ourselves here, most breakups have each person involved at least partially, right? But if it's all 100% your fault, there's a couple things that are going on here. First, it shows that there's a very strong emotional reaction. Number two, they're trying to justify their decision in breaking up with you. And then number three, they're also trying to view you as someone who's worth breaking up with. So, you know, in order to justify why we made a decision or why we had to do something harsh, like break up with someone, yell at them, have an argument with them, complain to them, or something like that, you know, we often may exaggerate or stretch certain truths about someone's behavior in order to make them, in our mind, someone who's worth breaking up with, so that we can feel better about ourselves for having done so. That's another big sign in this process right here. Number 3 is that they are angry with you. Now, obviously, if someone's angry with you, they have not moved on entirely. When someone has moved on, they're at peace with what has happened, and they are prepared to move forward with whatever the future may hold. Fully accepting whatever happened, fully accepting whatever role they had. But if someone is actively angry at you, then they have not moved on, and they might just be pretending to move on. Oftentimes people hide behind these how would you call them? Confrontational emotions like anger or hatred or cynicism or something like that, as a shield to protect themselves from what they're actually feeling, which is that, like, hey, I'm missing you. Hey, I have some regrets about this relationship. Hey, I can't believe that I let things get this bad. But anger itself is a way that basically your ex is emotionally still attached to you. Now, again, this is a big thing. Like, a lot of times people say, hey, how do I know if my ex has moved on or not? And the truth is, you actually kind of want your ex to move on, because if they're still caught up in the throes of the emotional experience of the breakup, they're in tears, they're angry at you, they're fluctuating back and forth, they're having mixed messages, etc., then they're gonna probably be a hot mess when the two of you get back together. And what we actually want is someone to have gotten past all of those emotions of the breakup and be able to actually interact with us in a calm, reasonable, stable sort of way. Because if they're able to do that, then we know that we're actually forming an organic connection in the present moment, and not just, as we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks here on this channel, a rebound relationship. But that's another big sign that your ex is still not over you. By the way, if you're liking this video, please make sure that you like the video. And if you like the video, I think that you should also subscribe to the channel. It's right down there next to the like button. Go ahead and just click it, and then also make sure you click the bell icon next to it so that you can get notified when we publish new content or when we go live in the future. I'd love to be able to connect with you in the live stream comments. And though the only way you're necessarily going to know if we're live streaming is if you have that bell notification turned on. I see there are many comments already posted. We'll go ahead and get to those later on in this video. I see there's also a super chat. Thank you so much for that. We will address that super chat once we're done with the main content here of this video. Next up, where did we leave off? I'm just looking at my notes here. Number 4 is that they are keeping in touch with you, especially if they don't need to keep in touch with you. Again, it's like one thing if you work together or you have a kid together or something like that. But if the two of you are in contact with one another and you don't need to be in contact with one another, that's a big sign that they're not over you. There's a part of them, regardless of whatever happened to you, causing the breakup and all that, there's still a part of them that feels that bond and that closeness towards you, that still feels that urge to turn towards you when they want to connect with you, that still feels that attraction towards you, that wants to see where that's going to go. And if they're keeping in contact with you when they don't need to, then that is a big reflection that there's still a part of them that's holding on to that. There's still a part of them that wants to see what could happen if the two of you stayed close together and where that could potentially take you. So that's another sign that your ex is just pretending to be over you. Number 5 is that they pretend to be happy all the time. Of course, on this channel, we've talked about composure. We've talked about, collapse and posture. We've talked about being a doormat and kind of puffing yourself up. Now, when you puff yourself up, when you're posturing, many times people will take that as, okay, that's when you're, being the macho jerk, or, whatever the female equivalent of that might be. And of course, it can look like that. But posturing, what it's really about, it's about constricting the amount of emotion that you can feel to just a few little pieces of emotion, and then just sticking with that. Now, with the, macho jerk stereotype, that's usually like anger, frustration, annoyance, maybe happiness, depending on the situation. But anyway, that's one flavor of it. Another flavor is that they're always happy. It's sort of the I'm happy, look at me, I'm so happy kind of thing. It's basically saying, okay, the only emotion that I'm giving myself permission to feel is happiness. I don't ever feel sad. I don't ever feel angry. I don't ever feel regret. I don't ever feel all these normal human emotions. It's just happiness. I've worked with clients who think that this is how they're supposed to show up because, I don't know, maybe someone else on the internet told them to do that. But you don't want to do this. Either you want to encourage your ex to not do this, and if you're doing that yourself, you want to not do that as well. And the reason why is because it's hard to connect with someone if they're just showing you a sliver of their emotional side. If you can see the whole entirety of their personality, then there's a whole lot more that we can connect with. As I said before, if we just wanted someone who is happy and funny and in a good mood all the time, we just go date a circus clown. But chances are you're not doing that. I mean, I know there's people in the acrobatic arts and all that sort of stuff, and the circus arts and all that. I know it's like a legit thing, but seriously, we want to be in a relationship with people who are a full fleshed out human being, who sometimes has hard days, sometimes has good days, sometimes has great days, sometimes has terrible days. This is just part of the human experience. And the more we can see the human side of each other, the more we can actually connect with each other. Because if you've had a hard day, I know I've had hard days in the past, and that gives us something to connect on. If I know that you're anxious about something, hey, I felt anxious before, and that gives us something to connect on. If I know that you're upset about something, hey, I felt upset before too, and that gives us something to connect on. But if it's just one slice of the emotional spectrum, it's a lot harder to do. Anyway, if your ex is showing up as just happy, it means they're trying to put on a front. It means they're trying to posture in a sense in order to give you a certain impression. They're not willing to show you transparently how they're feeling and what's going on with them, which means that they care a lot about your perception of them, which means that they're definitely not over you, even if they're pretending by putting on this happy act or some other act that they could be putting on. Again, the whole posturing thing, being happy all the time is just one flavor of it. There are, of course, many different flavors of it. Sign number six, that your ex is just pretending to be over you, is that they keep bringing up memories. Of course, they could be bringing up the positive memories. Hey, do you remember last summer when we went on this great little trip to some, cute, charming town, and we went to this wine place and had cheese and wine? Like, of course, that is like a positive memory that they might be bringing up. There are, of course, other memories that they could be bringing up too, like if they're just remembering the hurt and the pain and saying like, hey, you hurt me back when this happened. I still can't believe you did this, especially if they're just bringing this up out of the blue. Like if it's coming up and it's like, oh yeah, like I just did that again, and now you're bringing up when I did it the previous time, that's one thing. But if they're just bringing up painful or uncomfortable memories from the past, and there's a lot of emotional charge behind it as well too. It means that they're not over you. They're just pretending to be over you, or they're trying to give you that impression, maybe, but they're definitely not over you, because if they're bringing up these things, it shows that their mind is still anchored emotionally to things in the past. They have not come to peace with the fact that the two of you have broken up, and they are still emotionally attached to the past. Okay. Moving right along. Sign number 7 is they are sabotaging you. Now, what do I mean by this? When your ex is sabotaging you, they could be maybe discouraging you from moving on. They could be maybe trying to stop you from doing things, for stopping you from growing in your own way, stopping you from dating other people, stopping you from being in a new relationship. Now, why would they want to do this? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, of course, we've talked about this before, but after a breakup is people oftentimes end up trying to compete with their ex to try to see who moves on the fastest. Like, hey, if I can get into a relationship first, then that means that I'm more desirable, or that I won the breakup, or that I am vindicated somehow. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I really fully understand the thought process, but people do have this sort of competitive thing with their ex. And so oftentimes people will try to do this in order to, race forward. Usually they just end up in a rebound relationship and miserable but hey, people do this anyway. And it could be one reason why they might be trying to sabotage you. The other reason, of course, is that they actually want to keep you as an option because maybe they're still trying to figure out what they want. Maybe they're having second thoughts about whatever it is that they're doing now. Maybe they still want to connect with you in some way, but they want to keep that option because maybe they have torn emotions about you. And they're like, well, yeah, we broke up for some reason, but maybe I want to connect a little bit more, or maybe I want to see what might happen in the future. Maybe want to see how we might be able to get together after some time has passed or something along those lines. Anyway, those are the signs that we have here. If you liked this video, please make sure that you hit that thumbs up button for old YouTube, and please again make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell icon as well too. Also, did I miss something? Please go ahead and leave a comment down below if you think I missed something, or if you experienced something that was not on this list that was an indication that your ex was just pretending to be over you. Anyway, with that being said, I see that there are quite a lot of comments today, so let's go ahead and get into that. Let's start with the super chats. Again, my understanding of the etiquette of the internet is that I am obligated to respond to all super chats. I do not do these live streams just to, get you guys to, send me a couple dollars here and there. But if you're going to super chat, I got to respond. That's how I understand it. Anyway, first one is from Rideshare, who says, my wife is now confused about a divorce. She said that she was sure a month ago. Now she wants to go out on a date with me. She said it is the first step. She said that she has seen positive changes in me, but will not commit. Our friend continues with 20 years together, very good marriage, but I did make mistakes. She did also. She is not great at communication. He says, you're on it, coach. Coach, I can relate to. Well, thank you so much. But going back to your question, all right, so like this is obviously a positive thing. If we're going from, hey, we should not be together, we should get divorced, to, hey, I think we should go on a date. That's obviously progress, right? Now, when it comes to all of this sort of stuff, we really want to be thinking small, thinking little, okay? Now, I know that with a lot of people, especially people that have been in a relationship for a long time, like 20 years, or married for a long time, like 20 years, you just want to get this done now. You want to get back together. You want to put this whole terrible separation thing behind you, and you want to be back together. I get it. But chances are this whole marriage or relationship didn't just erode overnight. So it's probably going to take a little bit of time to build up. It's probably going to take a lot of trust building to get to that point where she's going to feel really comfortable committing again. But in order for her to get really comfortable committing, we have to work on that emotional level. So in order to do that, we have to think small. We have to think little things. Like for some people, a first date would be a great thing to focus on. For other people, it might be a little bit too much too fast. I mean, it sounds like it's okay for her. But just focus on that date. Just focus on spending that time together with her. Just focus on connecting with her there. Don't worry about where it's going to go. Don't worry about like, hey, is she making up her mind? Is she like, how's it going? Did you like this date? Do you think after this date, do you think we should get back together? Like, don't focus on that. Just say, hey, that's great. Let's go to this restaurant over here. Let's just have a meal. Let's talk. Let's just connect like old times. No pressure. Let's just hang out and have a little conversation. And if you just keep it at that level, you're able to focus on the emotional connection, and she's going to say, huh, that wasn't so bad. We actually had a pretty good time. Maybe we should have a second date. And then you go on the second date, do a lot of the same stuff, start to build up a little bit more connection. Maybe there's a third date, a little bit more connection, and on as long as you need to. But basically, the two of you should start warming up a little bit more over time, and you should start building more of an emotional connection. And as this happens, then it's going to become more and more clear to her that, hey, maybe this whole separation, divorce thing wasn't the best idea. Maybe old rideshare here wasn't so bad, and maybe we should actually, think about moving back in together and getting back together officially and all that sort of stuff. So again, we want to think small. We want to think about just the emotional connection, dropping that pressure like we've been talking about recently, and just staying connected on that emotional level. Anyway, buddy, I hope that helps you out. Thank you so much again for the super chat. Scrolling on down, looks like we have another super chat here. This one is from Jen. Jen says, my fiance and I broke up 1 month ago. He said because he fell out of love with me. We have been intimate since the breakup, which was a month ago, but now he is in a rebound. We were together for 3 years. Just quickly scanning through to make sure there's no other follow-ups. Okay, so that's what we got here. I guess the sort of implied question is, what do we do next from here? So he says he fell out of love with you. I don't know exactly what happened in that whole situation, but usually you can kind of pinpoint where it came from and what it came down to. Now, again, I know a lot of times because of world events and the whole COVID thing and lockdowns and all that sort of stuff, people haven't necessarily seen the most romantic side of their partners. Instead of getting all dressed up nice and going out somewhere fancy and all that, we're seeing each other in, sweatpants and t-shirts and just kind of hanging around the house and just doing tedious things, watching Netflix or doing chores or working from home in your sweatshirt and in your sweatpants and all that stuff. It's not that interesting. And so many times it causes someone to think like, okay, I thought there was going to be this great romantic relationship, but instead what I got was something else down here. And so that's a big thing that's been happening over the past, 2 years or so. And so, that could have contributed to it, but I imagine there's probably something a little bit more here in your situation and what may have happened between you and your fiance. I mean, he was your fiance, so maybe there's some cold feet there. Maybe there was some hesitation. I don't know, but I'd look at what it was that caused that breakup to happen. And if you need to correct it, okay, the whole thing about I just fell out of love with you, that is usually code for something stepped in and blocked the emotional connection, whatever that was, resentment or doubts or COVID or whatever else it might have been. And we're going to need to dig down a little bit deeper. Now, again, obviously he's still attracted to you. The two of you were intimate, right? Since the breakup. He's in a rebound relationship. We've talked about a lot of rebound relationship stuff recently. Obviously, it's not a huge thing that can't be overcome. We've worked with a lot of people over the years who have gotten back together with their partner, even though their partner had ended up in a rebound relationship. I'd really recommend checking out yesterday's video. I'm just going to go ahead and put a link to it right up there. Right around 23 minutes, just so I can remember to put that video card in. But we did go over a lot of stuff about rebound relationships and what you need to know. Okay, Jen? So I think that's going to help you a lot. But again, if you can just stay focused on that emotional connection, you're going to be doing what you need to do to move forward in this situation. Okay. Let's go on. We have another super chat here. Oh, this one's also from Jen. She continues on by saying, he said prior to the rebound, he saw us together in the future, but now I don't know and didn't ask. His rebound even made him block me on Instagram and Facebook, and he listened. Okay. Yeah, okay. So again, it sounds like he was confused prior to this rebound. Obviously, I think this rebound is feeling insecure. Otherwise, she would not have him block you on Instagram and Facebook. I'm going to really recommend that you go ahead and use that decoy strategy that we talked about yesterday. Again, if you can just connect with him well, you're going to stand out from whatever version of you it was that he broke up with. And then as that starts to kick in, his rebound is probably going to start to feel insecure. Hey, why is he spending so much time talking to Jen? This feels uncomfortable. And then the part of her that's already having him block you on Facebook and Instagram is now going to freak out and say, hey, you can't talk to her anymore. This has to stop. Like, what has she got that I don't got? Now, suddenly she's getting all insecure. He's not having positive interactions with her. He's not feeling like he can be himself around her. He's going to start withdrawing emotionally from her. You, on the other hand, are showing up as accepting and compassionate and present and emotionally tuned in, and you're going to seem like a breath of fresh air. And so then it just kind of takes care of itself at that point. Okay. So that's really what I'd recommend in that situation. Again, you don't have to worry too much about this whole rebound thing. Just keep your focus on connecting with him well on an emotional level. That's literally all you have to do. And, we've talked about all the other dynamics at play, but you don't have to worry about those. Those will just take care of themselves. All you have to do is just connect with him. Next up, we have Slothy. Says it could it be possible for your ex to block you everywhere and then hop into a rebound into another relationship a week or two? Just as a note, I begged and pleaded when this happened. Let's see, is there more? Okay, there's a couple more posts here from Slothy. She blocked me because I pleaded and begged after the breakup happened. I felt like I was nothing to her. No, our relationship was a year long. I think there's one more. I just talking to someone here. Yeah, just talking to some other person in the chat. Okay. All right. So basically, it sounds like your ex blocked you everywhere and then hopped into a rebound relationship. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, that's definitely possible. I think the implied question here is like, what do you do next? Okay. So she blocked you. Do you have any kind of communication available to you, or are you just not able to talk to her at all? That's kind of the big question here, because if you can communicate with her in some form or other, then like, okay, we've got something to work with here. Now, of course, if she blocked you, it could be risky to reach out to her that way. It's like, okay, she blocked me on social media, but I still have her email address. I still have her phone number, or I have her home address and I could write a letter or something. But, that could be risky to reach out to her that way. So you got to make sure you're doing it the right way. What I'd really recommend is using something like a fresh start message to connect with her on whatever emotion she could be feeling that caused her to block you. And hopefully get that out of the way so that she can feel comfortable getting in contact with you again. Now, because she is in a rebound relationship, we want to make sure that we also very quickly move to drop the pressure that she might be feeling towards you here, okay? Because, especially if she's dating someone else, she might be thinking like, hey, why, like, what does it mean about me if I'm talking to Slothy? Does that mean that I'm like that kind of woman? Does that mean that I'm leading him on? Does that mean like something else? We want to drop that really quick so that she thinks, oh, okay, yeah, like we were together for a year. Yeah, we had a great connection. Yeah, of course it makes sense we'd want to talk. Okay, yeah, I can do that. We're just going to be friends. Like, that's going to help her move forward and help her to stay open to connecting with you. Okay. So again, we want to do something like have a same team conversation and we want to do a fresh start message and sort of a same team conversation wrapped up together. Okay. So again, the fresh start component is really just like, hey, I'm sorry, I did a lot of begging and pleading after the breakup. I wasn't really listening to you and you were wanting for space. At the time, I was just so caught up with feelings of, with the thought maybe that you had just forgotten me and that I was just like nothing to you anymore, that I panicked and I lost connection with who I was. I'm really sorry for that. And I hope that we can move past that. Okay, cool. Now we move on to the same team component where we're now like, and at the same time, I'd still like to be able to stay in contact with you. Again, trust me, I'm not trying to twist your arm into some relationship that you don't want. The truth is, I think that we should be just friends for the time being. So what do you say? Can we be on the same team here? And something like that can really drop the pressure and open the door for her to be in contact with you. That's what I'd recommend. Now, obviously, you have a little bit more leeway if you have friends in common, or you like somehow participate in some sort of similar group or work or something like that. But I'd probably start out with that. And then what you want to do once you get your foot in the door is, again, just focusing on the emotional connection. Again, don't worry about the rebound, just focus in on the emotional connection, and a lot of this stuff will take care of itself, much like how we were talking about before with Jen. And we have actually another super chat. This one is from Love Isaac. Thank you so much for your super chat here. Love Isaac says, me and my ex were going good, making good emotional connection. Now, after hanging out, she stopped texting me and hasn't since Tuesday. I don't know what to do. Okay, so first of all, you continue with, do I give her space? Because like we're going super good, and then she just went silent. Okay, yeah. So first of all, this was on Tuesday, and at least now in the United States anyway, it is Thursday. So it's only been like maybe 2 days. So I wouldn't worry too much about this just yet. Okay, this could be something like a positive pullback. This could be something, I mean, like if you get into this, there's people with different personality types, and sometimes certain personality types think, okay, you know, I've given attention to this person, that means they're good for now, which means I can now put my attention on something else for a while. So sometimes that happens. That could be maybe her personality type. But I wouldn't worry too much about this at this point, because it's been like, what, a day and a half or 2 days or something. If this stretches on for more than like maybe a day or two longer, then I might consider taking a deeper look at what's going on. Sounds like the two of you have been connecting pretty well, which means that there could be a couple different things that could have happened. Number one is she might have noticed that she felt a very strong emotional connection towards you, and that caused her to get outside of her comfort zone to the point where she started asking herself, what does this mean? Why are Isaac and I spending time together? Why are we having such a good time together? Like, what was all that, you know, joking around about? Am I starting to get feelings for him? What about all the reasons why I broke up? Is he starting to get feelings for me? Am I leading him on? Oh my goodness, I don't want to lead someone on if I don't want to be in a relationship with him. Do I want to be in a relationship with him? I don't even know. This is too much, too soon for me to handle. I'm just going to pull back. Like, that could definitely be happening. And so what we might want to do in that situation is to really just drop the pressure, much like we've been talking about, so that she can feel comfortable moving forward and closer to you emotionally, without having to worry about where this is all going. Because as long as she's trying to figure this out in her own mind, she's going to freak herself out. But if you can help give her some sort of way of looking at this, some sort of perspective at this, that allows the two of you to see this as something that you can both work on together, then that's going to help her to feel more comfortable moving forward together with you. Okay. And then, wait, okay, I'm scrolling the wrong way here. Okay. And then of course, the second thing as well too, is that this could be a positive pullback based off of, you know, again, when we break up with someone, we have to think of them as someone worth breaking up with, right? We don't want to think of ourselves as like, yeah, I just like broke someone's heart. Yeah, I just dumped someone. Yeah, I'm like, you know, cold-blooded. I made someone cry or something like that. So many times we have to see that other person as someone worth breaking up with. This causes us to maybe distort who they actually are and what actually happened between us in our minds, so that we can actually see them as someone worth breaking up with. So she may have started to see you as some person that she couldn't trust, some person who wasn't honest, some person who never prioritized her or whatever. Then the two of you got together, you had a great connection, and she's like, wait, I thought Isaac was this total dirtbag, but then we actually got together and we had this great time. What's going on? Was this just him on his best behavior? Was this just him on a good day? Was this just him trying some, weird, sneaky thing that a YouTube relationship coach told him to do? I don't know. Or maybe he just actually changed. Or what if I was totally wrong and maybe he's actually okay? What if he's not this totally self-absorbed whatever person, but what if he's actually like a decent, caring person? And so sometimes your ex will pull back when they're not sure which one of these two to put more stock into. Okay. So most likely what I'm going to recommend that you do is give this another day or two just to see what happens. And and then, you know, maybe like sometime over the weekend or Sunday or whatever, maybe just think about reaching out to her and just do something kind of casual, just to kind of take some temperature about where she is and what she's feeling. You know, just some sort of thing like, you know, oh, hey, last time we talked on Tuesday, you mentioned this. Anyway, I just saw this and it reminded me of that, or just something like that. And then we'll see how she responds. If she responds warmly, okay, we know that she's warm and receptive. Maybe she just got caught up with some stuff, whatever. If she responds neutrally, okay, maybe there's something going on and we need to work on that whole same team thing, or work on something else. If she responds negatively, okay, maybe she's upset about something, maybe something triggered her, I don't know, but we might have to work on maybe some sort of fresh start kind of thing at that point. Anyway, Isaac, I think that's what I'm seeing here in this kind of situation here. Got a follow-up here from Slothy, who says, I've not contacted her for 17 days or so. Should I break this? Her friends and her try to provoke me with their own statuses, hers being that she loves her boyfriend. Okay. All right. So when it comes to this whole no contact thing, I want to be really clear about this, because I know there's a lot of voices here on the internet. But when it comes to this whole no contact thing, I know there are a lot of people that say you just need to do no contact and just, you know, hold the line, be strong about it, and eventually your ex will come around and they'll crack under the pressure and they'll reach out to you. That can happen. Sure, it can, but it's not going to happen all the time. I know people say, you know, they always come back in the end. You know, just do the no contact rule. It always works. They always come back. It does not. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. It can work for some people that way, but for a lot of people, it doesn't. And so it's okay if you are choosing to be out of contact with her because you realize maybe it's for your own emotional well-being, you're still healing or something like that, that's fine. But if you're in a good place yourself and you're ready to contact her, it's fine to do that. It's okay. It really is. Sounds like you are blocked, so I'm not sure what options you have available to you, but it sounds like you do have some options. So go ahead. I might consider, you know, some of those things that we talked about earlier, but it's totally fine to reach out. It is really. You don't have to just blindly follow this no contact business that a lot of people out there are advising you to. Okay. Anyway, everyone, thanks so much for all the super chats on this live stream. Once again, if you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to this YouTube channel, hitting the bell icon as well too. If you want to learn more about signs that your ex likes you or doesn't, please make sure that you check out this video series over here. Once again, thanks so much. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time.